want to thank Fat SOS for the amazing segments that we do live on Wednesdays, talking to some amazing veterans that have been on his podcast. Now have come on mine, and unbelievable stories. Shawn, thanks for stopping by again. And it's so important. But what I've learned with veterans is that makes them, they want to figure it out themselves. But here's the issue: breaking the stigma is our topic, encouraging veterans to seek help when needed. There's an issue with that, right, man? Right?
Oh,
That people,
absolutely.
what,
Yeah.
yeah, why don't they want to ask for help?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on again, Neil. I think a lot of it stems to the service itself. When we're in the service, a lot of times you catch grief from people, whether it's superiors or peers or whatever, if you're going to sick call to get taken care of, or if you're injured or things like that. And then, of course, you got the stigma with mental health where people think it impacts your career or your um, um, security clearance, things like that. So, there's stigmas involved with it. As a group, um, we try to take care of things ourselves as best we can because, we're taught to do a lot of that. And as we get out, whether it's retirement or just ETSing out of the military, there's a lot of things we still have to deal with. And it's important that veterans learn to start reaching out to their friends, to their family, to build that support network around them and ask for the help they need.
Yeah, because you got to ask for the help that you need, and if you don't, a lot of things happen. I think that one of the biggest things I'm taking is, I'm blocking off every day, so at least I can have appointments for health, as health is your wealth. And when you're talking about dealing with asking for help with the veteran programs out there and all these different things, you got to seek help, or it's going to hit you either in the pocketbook, end up in the hospital, or even dead, especially when we see how many veterans commit suicide every day.
That's a big thing. You start talking about the suicide thing, you get to the point that you want to commit suicide. That there were tons of moments where you probably could have reached out to somebody, and I'm not going to pretend to understand why somebody does or doesn't commit suicide, but I do know that there's struggles going on, and whatever those struggles may be, reaching out for help may help you get through them. So I encourage anybody who's struggling, even contemplating, having those suicidal ideations and thinking about that process, please reach out. There's so many veterans out here that will put down whatever they are doing and take the time to talk to you and be there for you as best they can, and help you find the help you truly need. So that do not struggle alone. We don't need to lose any more brothers and sisters.
Yeah. And you got to do that. And but other things too, health, right? You don't want to be sitting here with poor health. You got to go get help when it's needed.
Yeah, there's an old saying that you can't help others until you help yourself, right? So you got to make sure that you're in the best health you can be, and those who know me know that I'm not in the best health I can be right now, but I'm working on it. I've dedicated this year to trying to get back in some sort of shape and take better care of myself, and hopefully, more and more veterans do that. Take
Yeah.
the time to make sure you're taking care of yourself because it's going to enable you to do whatever it is you want to do, whether that's spend more time with your family and grandkids and kids, et cetera, or to help others or whatever you want to do, making sure you're healthy is going to help you go a lot further.
Yeah, and if you don't, it's rough, man, when
Mhm.
you don't make that choice to do it. It
Absolutely.
truly is, and it's disappointing when we're not able to do that. And I think that as men, we do talk to women in the military, especially, but the high percentage of men still in the military, we don't go to the doctors. Our significant other drags us to the doctors when we're struggling. We don't do it. We just say, "Hey, put a band-aid on it. Let's go." Oh, I'm suffering. Well, I'm going to just go harder till we snap, either through drugs, alcohol, other types of addictions. A worst case scenario, we just keep going, ignoring the pain until it's too late.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I don't have statistics in front of me, but I think as a collective whole, men tend to be that way. And I look at my father, my grandfather, that generation there, you start looking, the strong silent type, and you didn't know when there was pain or anything like that. They pushed through it and did what they had to do. And a lot of us were raised by those types of people. And so it just keeps continuing, and it can definitely get to the point where it's too late. So I encourage everybody to listen to your body. It's going to tell you a lot of things. Listen to it and pay attention.
Listen to it, and we got to listen to it. And then I'm glad you've made those dedication yourself, Shawn. I don't. I had to have people drag me to the doctors, but now I'm so into biohacking. I'm like, okay, why didn't I think of this earlier? Because here's the thing: if you are an entrepreneur, if you're deciding I'm never going to retire and I love what I do, you want to live as a long life as possible, and that means you have to make sacrifices.
Oh, yeah.
And especially the veterans that made sacrifices, just think how you can help others and the ability to do this for a long period of time
Absolutely.
if we optimize ourselves. Because guess what? I want to go to another world. I want to go visit other planets. I want to go to Mars with Elon. I want to see the time when there's robots everywhere. I want to do all these things, and the only way to do it is to focus on making ourselves self-care. Another thing men don't do is take care of themselves. Why is that?
A lot of us self-medicate, which is very different than self-care. Um,
That's self-dying. But go ahead.
True. It's maybe it goes back to the strong silent type, just pushing through it. Who knows? Maybe it's a fear of needles. Maybe it's just not liking going to the
I have a
doctor.
fear of needles.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't know what the reason is there, but I mean, I believe that it is a problem within the male gender. There's a lot of things that we just will push through and ignore, and um, they can wind up actually becoming a big problem. So
Oh
I would
yeah.
encourage anybody to, like I said, listen to your body. It'll tell you.
Listen to your body, look at the specific things, be as competitive with your body as you are competitive with attaining wealth, accomplishing different things, doing different things. Let's put the same markers out there in our health
Oh yeah.
and compare it and be competitive. But again, mental health, man, final thing, Shawn, is how do we define how a man should feel, feelings, all those different things need to be addressed, really releasing what we gone through in these traumatic situations in a way that a guy wants to do it. I think that we need to create lots of men's clinics. The great thing is a good friend of mine, veteran, started a men's clinic, and I think that's great. Men need to be with men, and especially in their health journey and mental health journey, more and more doctors need to do that for men.
I don't disagree with you. I've had some great therapeutic conversations around the grill. Just, sitting outside grilling, enjoying a beer, whatever, and having some deep conversations, smoking a cigar. And I know I'm listing a bunch of things that aren't good for your health, but just sitting outside and sitting around a campfire. The number of conversations I've had through the years around a campfire is just amazing. And be willing to open up and share. I mean, there's the old stigma, men don't cry and, all this other stuff. And I hate to break it to you, but we do. And,
We cry in the wrong times, or we break and break
yeah,
something else.
yeah, if you hold it in too long, it's going to manifest itself in some way, shape, or form. And as someone who has gone to anger management and dealt with anger issues, I'm telling you, there's healthier ways to do it. So, take the steps now to work through those things.
Yeah, Shawn, you got to stop breaking those things when the thumbnails are messed up that I send to you.
I'm on my eighth computer.
But and it's the patience thing. Thank gosh I had the opportunity to teach for X amount of years, elementary kids, middle school kids, and high school kids. I had the patience of a saint in that way, because I nothing,
God bless you.
I dealt with that, and I never no thank you again. But I'm telling you, that is the patience to be able to go through the tough times and resilience. But when you can't be resilient, you got to get help.
Yeah, absolutely. I got no argument there with you. And The Army had a great resiliency program, and I wish more people would pay attention to the lessons that were taught there. Build those resiliency skills and be able to bounce back from adversity and push through things. It's important, and you need to. You can't hold it in.
I think it's a book on magnetism, Shawn. Back in 1920s, I listened to it in self-hypnosis at night, and it talks about specifically enough the number, or I think it was the book, how to, Wallace D. Wallace wrote a book on how to become rich. And he talked about the more winning days you have, that's become rich. So kind of focusing on that day. Did I win that day? Was I able to accomplish those things that day? Let's forget about yesterday. Let's forget about the future. Let's focus on how did we win today and win big.
The biggest butt of any joke and the simplest resiliency skill to work on in the Army program is called hunt the good stuff. People make fun of it, but it truly is the easiest skill in the world. You focus on what good things happen today to you at the end of every day. And we started doing it at the house, and my son, when he was about 5, every day when I come home, what good happened to dad today, daddy? And he started it. And it just helps build that optimism, and you celebrate it with people. It just makes it that more impactful, and the overall impact is going to be huge. And I think it plays right to what you were just saying about winning the day.
Winning the day, more wins than losses every day will make you win the rest of your life and everything in life. You might have lost on one, but you sure as heck won on others. And what was the seed of benefit? Napoleon Hill talks about this. Every thing that happens to you, there's a seed of benefit. And you have to look at that seed of benefit. It might be this was a shitty ass day, but you know what? I was able to have this one seed of benefit that came from that. And that's how I'm going to become better the next day. And to say, oh my gosh, this is out of my control. And to own up, you screwed up. I screwed up. I think that was one lesson someone told me. Tell your clients when you screw up and don't make an excuse. I screwed up, and own it and keep going.
Absolutely.
All right. Best place to go, vetsospodcast.com. Check out
Absolutely.
all different Shawn's shows. Love the conversation, man.